because it breaks the surface tension and the resin will flood over the side. And that's exactly what I did here. And I was trying to take some resin out and it was just making things worse. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Why didn't I grab a spoon instead of a knife?
Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I made a tray with Waterslide paper and it was in the design of a zebra. This is the tray I am talking about. I'm sorry if it's reflecting for the ring light. There's not really a lot I can do about that. But I absolutely love this tray. I love the design. I love that you can put photos or pictures into resin and colour them. It just appeals to me. I had a lot of questions, however, in the comments section, and I tried really hard to answer every question I possibly could. Now, it did occur to me that I had several questions several times, and other people might also have these questions. So I thought I'd put a video together with a kind of a question and answer throughout the video, but I'm going to try some more things with Waterslide paper. There are some things that I don't know about. There are some things I'm learning about, and apparently I had it upside down. So we're going to try the right way around. We're going to try some different back ends. And yeah, let's have some fun with Waterslide paper.
First of all, thank you so much, Bella, for telling me about how Waterslide paper works, and then I had it upside down. I had no clue. So I went to Creative Fabrica again to find some more artwork. I do have a link for Creative Fabrica in the box below, together with everything else I use in this video. But I do find that Creative Fabrica is an amazing place to find artwork. Now, this question I think was worth answering on here. I use Canva to remove and change photos. As you can see at the top, I'm naming my file Waterslide A1. Now, I've actually purchased a year's subscription to Canva, but there's a lot you can do on here for free. And when you click to download, there is an option to change which format you want to download in. And if you choose some of them, you can change the background to transparent. There are a multitude of things you can do. Now, unfortunately, the transparent background feature is paid for, but there are so many other things that are not. Now, the majority of people wanted to know what type of printer I was using and can you use an inkjet printer? So here we go. I have a laser printer, and because I use a laser printer, I didn't even consider that ink from an inkjet printer would run. When I first made this, the chessboard that I've made, I was using an inkjet printer and that actually worked. So this part had completely slipped my mind. Yes, if you use an inkjet printer, you will need to seal in the ink by spraying it with a matte varnish, and I believe even hairspray works, but I haven't tried that, so don't quote me on it. So as you can see here, I am now sliding the paper out from underneath the picture, and the picture is sticky side down on the mould. Now, this piece was a bit of an accident. I didn't realise I'd put the paper in the printer upside down, so I had to print both sides, and then I didn't know which side was up. Oh. Consequently, I had it upside down in the water, so the picture was coming away at the top. Oh dear. You know what? That's not too bad, considering I messed that up completely. I was quite surprised how easy it was to unfold, seeing as it flipped over on itself. There was another one that I did that was completely mangled, and I threw that one out and did it again. But that was later on anyway. All these pictures I've printed on clear Waterslide paper. I do have the types that I use linked in my Amazon storefront, which is at the bottom of the description box if you want to find out what types I use. So the first two pictures I used were solid printed. They were completely covered. The items were complete from top to bottom, printed colour. These little dragons, however, they have parts of the Waterslide paper that isn't printed on at all. It is just clear. Now, I did find when putting these ones into the mould that because they had clear around the outside, the clear plastic was very flimsy and wouldn't sit straight and was difficult to use. If I did it again, I would definitely cut out the picture closer to the printed area. So this design I really love, absolutely love it, but this is the second attempt with this one because the first attempt did not go according to plan. It flipped over and got all stuck with itself, so I gave up and tried again. What I'm trying to do is to show different ways of making these with different backing colours in different moulds. While I was making this video, I had a delivery and it was a Let's Resin package. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get this mixer out of the box. Honestly, I'd seen this and I'd wanted to try it. I was so excited I had to unbox it there and then. It has a USB charger, some mixing cups and a cleaning spatula and the usual instructions. It is best to read those before you start using it though. As usual, without care in the world, I just try things out. How cute is that? It's a mixing cup. I was expecting to find a permanent container, not a disposable one, which actually makes far more sense. Oh, that is. They're mixing cups. Oh, I see. How cute. The penny dropped. That's a mixing cup. That is so cute. Of course, you can use these cups again if you clean them out properly. I love that idea. But that does mean that you don't have one container that you have to keep clean. I'm guessing that is for cleaning. Comes on. So you can clean that. Honestly, sometimes I'm like a kid in a candy store. I have to take things apart and push all the buttons to find out what they do. But this next bit surprised me. I don't have it plugged in. Again, it didn't occur to me that the cable was just a rechargeable cable, not a power cable. And it obviously already had some charge. I wondered why the cable was so short. Okay. It must be battery. It's rechargeable. I do laugh at my own stupidity sometimes. That is really cute. But I was impressed. So there's only one thing for it. I'm going to use this mixer and I'm going to use Let's Resin, epoxy resin, some white Vista pigment and some black Vista pigment. It says in the instructions, now that I've read them, you pour part B into the mixing cup and then part A. This is good practice anyway. Part A is heavier than part B and it sinks through part B to help the mixing process along. This mixer mixes for 40 seconds, just 40 seconds, that's it. Now the bubbles that are in there were all in there from when I poured the resin. It doesn't create more bubbles, but it won't get rid of them either. Once it's mixed, after the full 40 seconds, you take the top off and you put it into a spare container. You click it again and it will spin in the empty container and spins off most of the resin. With any mechanical mixer, it's always a good idea to stir the sides and the bottom because they can't reach those bits. But really that takes seconds and I have a fully mixed, quite large amount of resin in less than a minute. How cool is that? Going back to the project, and I have these pieces on 2 different heat mats because it's cold here and I want this resin to cure without any faults at all. And it also speeds up the curing process quite significantly as well. I then go around the outside edge with a tool and I spray them with isopropyl alcohol. The micro brush gets rid of the stuck bubbles, potentially and hopefully, and the alcohol breaks the surface tension and releases the bubbles easier. And as this resin is degassing, it doesn't take much. Now for the black. At the bottom 2 I'm going to fill with black, just about got enough resin, and I have to make some more for the top 2. I just thought I'd show you that the cups are quite easily cleanable when you don't drop them. Try not to clean them over top of a project. It doesn't work, especially when you're butterfingers like me. Woo! I didn't want to do that, did I? And I was just trying to show you guys that I cleaned it nicely. And I mucked it up completely and I had to do more cleaning. I also just wanted to show you that cleaning the blades was actually quite easy. I forgot to use the little cleaning device that came with it, but doing it by hand was fine. So I poured a smaller amount this time of resin just for the top 2 moulds, and I gave it another mix for 40 seconds. The resin level was below the blades and it probably put a bit of air into it, but Let's Resin's degassing system works really well anyway, and it being on a heat mat is no big deal. So the top 2 moulds are going to be white, so I'm using the Vista white pigment, which is a beautiful solid white. Giving it a quick stir, making sure it's nice and thoroughly stirred, and just filling those 2 up to the top. Now the one on the left did get a little bit too much resin, and as I didn't see it, it was kind of domed. You don't use isopropyl alcohol when you're doming because it breaks the surface tension and the resin will flood over the side. And that's exactly what I did here. And I was trying to take some resin out and it was just making things worse. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Why didn't I grab a spoon instead of a knife? So this is about 15 hours later and I can demold them quite happily. I did leave them overnight, although I don't think I really needed to. You can see the clear backgrounds on the dragons are slightly visible. Now I wasn't really keen on that, to be fair. I think, like I said earlier, I should have cut the paper closer to the design. But I'm going to try 2 different back ends on these because they're very faint pictures. I need to try 2 different colours on the back. Also, as I've put the Waterslide paper directly onto the mould, these are going to need to be sealed on the back. They're not sticky like a tattoo is though. It's definitely different. So now I'm going to try the black, and honestly I don't know what to expect. I did hope that the black would push the colours out to make them more vibrant, but I didn't expect this. Where did it go? Well, it's still there, just you cannot see it at all. I'm expecting this one to be exactly the same. Now I've demolded the first one. There is a faint colour down the bottom left-hand corner, but you certainly can't call that a success, can you? Let's have a look at the white ones. Straight away I can see the design, so I know this is bound to be better. And the colours are really vibrant. Bearing in mind this was transparent Waterslide paper. Transparent. So any colour behind is going to show through. Even though it was full of colour when I printed it, the black certainly took that away. But the white worked. Now I know this video has gone on far longer already than my usual videos, but I wanted to show you how I fixed these 2 black trays. I've printed some more designs out, but this time I've used white Waterslide paper. So the colour of the Waterslide paper already exists. I'm trying this wolf again. The white Waterslide paper hopefully will give me a better result. I also learned while making this video that if you're not impatient and try to take the picture off too quickly and soak it for a decent amount of time, the picture will slide off a lot easier. Now when I received my Let's Resin parcel, inside was also the Let's Resin levelling table, which I'd actually asked for. I do have another brand of levelling table which I'll use for silicone, but this one is clear acrylic and the levelling dot with its adjustable feet is so easy to use. Now unfortunately these pieces needed doming on the back to seal in the Waterslide paper, but I'd already made them on an unlevel surface. Right,
Even though this is completely flat, these are not, because they were made on an uneven surface. So they need to come up slightly on one edge. I had to adjust 3 of them. One was actually dead on flat, so it was fine, but the others did need adjusting. And when you're doming, they have to be 100% flat. With this white galaxy, I decided I didn't like the fact that the edges had come up around the sides, so I put some glitter around the outside just to make it a little neater. I'm just going to fill these pieces up on my uneven surface, but really it doesn't matter about these. I'm not doming so much. My surface is only a fraction out, or we are talking a fraction, but a fraction matters when you're doming. So those pieces just get filled up. Now Dawn has asked, question, what type of tool are you using when pushing the resin around? Well, I use a multitude of tools depending on what I'm doing at the time. When I'm doming, I tend to use a silicone tool, or in this instance, a lolly stick. Anything that I can judge where the edge is and can guide the resin to the edge. Resin won't flow over the edge unless it's pushed. So I'm doing the top 2 in clear and the bottom 2 in white, and I want to see which works better for this clear waterside paper. Once I've pushed the resin up to the edge, I give it a little top up so that not to push it over, and I do not use isopropyl alcohol when doming because it will break the seal and it will run over the edge. So I use a long net lighter. And finally, we have all the pieces completely made. The top coats of the clear resin on the pieces that were trayed looks absolutely stunning. I do love Let's Resin. It is more or less flawless unless you get a little flick in the piece like I have on that one. That's the user error. All these 4 pieces came out beautifully in the end. But I did get a couple of bubbles in the white because you can't see through to find them. You just have to try and get them the best you can. Handmade with love, not perfection, as Claire would say. These are absolutely gorgeous in my opinion though. The pictures, just think you can put any family pictures, dogs, pets. I don't have any pets sadly. And even though there's a flaw on the edge of this one, I still think that picture is adorable and I love the end result, even though it took me a bit to get there. Now for the domed ones. Now these are clear domed. You can see the picture. I had a terrible job trying to film this because I couldn't see where I was standing, whether you could see anything. So I was putting my hand behind to try and see it myself. I decided to put the white coaster behind it to show you the picture because I didn't know if you could see it. They are very faint, but they are very beautiful. You can see the outline of the clear waterslide paper, and that is what I've told you. Really, I should have cut that waterslide paper round the design better. But I can still dome these on the front. Now that I know the back is completely flat, I can dome them with white resin and turn them inside out, as it were, upside down, back to front. That's the one. You know what I mean. Because when you see the ones that are whitely domed, they are stunning. All those little flaws of the clear paper disappear. You just can't see them. They are there if you look close enough. But these are absolutely stunning. I love the designs. I love little dragons anyway, you know I do. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one and I really hope that you've got something out of it. Thank you so much for watching. Come back and see me next week because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week. Happy crafting and bye for now.